Hello fans and welcome. It's finally here, the inaugural season for the Utah Hockey Club, and the Two Line Pass podcast will be there with you for every game. I'm Randon, and alongside my co-hosts Dustin and Ryan, we will bring you inside the team, giving you the latest news, highlights, and an in-depth analysis on everything about the Utah Hockey Club. Welcome to another episode of the Two Line Pass. But welcome in, fans. Another episode of the Two Line Pass podcast. The three amigos reunited after so many injuries, it seems. We have another episode with you, as always, your host, Randon, and I'm here with my buddies, Ryan and Dustin. Dustin, fresh off the football game, the tickle in his throat. We're going to try to bring him in for the big guns when we need him. Otherwise, Dustin will let that throat of yours soothe itself. But Ryan, how you doing, my man? Welcome in.
I'm doing, as good as we can be doing. Tough loss for both the Utes fans and both of you two. And not really a football guy, but this team's been letting me down all goddamn year. I'm doing fine. The weather's getting chilly. It's fine. It's fine.
That's all we can say in the month of November. It is just fine. Dustin, would you like to say hello?
Oh, I will say hello. I'm sipping on coffee, which as I'm sipping it, it tastes a little alcoholic-y. So I'm not sure if my wife spiked it with something. But I'm going to do what I can. I'm still recovering from screaming my voice out at the football game.
Well, if you take a few more sips of that hot toddy, you'll be talking our ears off. I love it. Get some sips in. Yeah, disappointing. Unless if you're a BYU fan out there listening, congratulations. If you're a Utah fan, like the sane people among us, cannot catch a break. Neither the football team nor the hockey team can. But when last we met, guys, on the Two Line Pod. When last we met, guys, on the Two Line Pass podcast, Utah had just lost quite frankly, a disappointing effort against the Winnipeg Jets, and we chalked it up to the fact that the Winnipeg Jets were the best team in the league, and then Utah goes and beats St. Louis 4-2, and then follows that up with another shutout, losing 4-0 to the Nashville Predators. And it's hard to pick the poorest effort, but man, against the Predators, that was another poor effort. The penalty kill, just way too many penalties, and Nashville's got an excellent power play, and they punished us, just like it seems like every single team is punishing us when we make those simple mistakes. And just like the Utah Utes, the Utah Hockey Club seems to not be able to catch a break or get out of their own way. And Ryan, I'm looking at the schedule. It doesn't seem like it gets any easier in the month of November.
No, it does not. This is not looking fun. And just going over some of our stats before we get into the scheduling thing. We have a minus 10 goal differential. We're sitting at 15 points on the year. Now, granted, we've only played 15 games, but Randon, if you and Dustin will recall back to before the season started, my personal opinion is you can't judge a team until 15 games, and Jesus Christ, here we are, and we have
judge away.
We have let that entire prediction episode we had where we were so optimistic it did not age well, and I don't know what this team needs to even get started. Where do we even go? The schedule doesn't get easier. It just doesn't. And we're already finding ourselves falling behind, and it just we got to do something. But tomorrow's game against Carolina, that'll be fun. Cool, we're going up against one of the powerhouse. We are pretty good against the East. I will say that. We have shown we beat the Rangers, we beat the Bruins, even though beating the Bruins, looking back, not that big of a deal anymore.
Beat the powerhouse Islanders, right? Right? The Islanders, they're good, right?
They're just so good. We beat the Flames. That's something. But even then the Capitals, who are on an absolute roll this season because Ovi wants to break the record. So that'll be a good game, I think, hopefully. I feel like we match up pretty decent against Washington. They're not as fast as we are, but we don't have an edge to us with guys like Tom Wilson, which I feel like that's what this team is missing. We don't have a energy. There's no spark on the even when we score a goal. There's just cool. We scored a goal, and then the other team scores a goal, and then and then it's over. We just give up on ourselves. But I feel like we just don't have that spark. We don't have anything where like you know what I mean? Like and Tuna, we all thought would be the guy, and 3 games into the season, and Tuna ain't done shit. Not his fault. Not blaming him.
Yep. Can't do anything when you're not being played, which I think is if you were to tell me a storyline going into the season, obviously if you're a fan of the podcast, if you've been listening to us, or if you want to just go back to one of the first few episodes, I mean, Spicy Tuna came in and we talked about this at length in terms of winning the press conference. And it turns out, unfortunately for Liam O'Brien, that's all that he seems to have won. Now, he got himself $1 million contract out of it, so good for him, but he's only played 3 games. He's been a healthy scratch for all the others. There's no indication that he's injured or anything like that. And when you're looking at it, I mean, at the home opener, that's what the casual fan wanted. The casual fan wanted Spicy Tuna. There was a Spicy Tuna chant, and he's only played 3 games. And so, I mean, credit the coach for wanting to field a team of, the team that's capable of winning. But then he does stuff like changes the lines every other time. They finally slid back to the 12 forwards, 6 defensemen. We've settled back into that. And since we last met, he's re-added the first line. So now the Schmaltz, Keller, Hayton line is the number 1 pairing again. And now, thank goodness, Michelli has moved up to the second line, which it was absolutely criminal to have him on the 4th line. And so now he's united with Cooley and Gunther. But when all that happens, gets shut out by Nashville. So it's like, I don't know what it is. In this team, we talk about not showing any fight. It took until 1935 in the 3rd period for Lawson Krause, he's a big guy, granted, finally drops the gloves. That's who you're going to put out there to drop the gloves? Like, it doesn't seem... They just don't want to. And maybe we're living in the past, Ryan and Dustin. Maybe we're living in the past where our style of hockey, or what we grew up on in hockey, was when your team gets down, you fight to energize them. And that was kind of a time-tested tactic in the NHL. And I felt like it hasn't gone away. I felt like coming to the aid of your players when they take a big hit. We saw it early in the season. Everybody and their mom wanted to defend Logan Cooley. Nobody and their mom wanted to defend Connor Ingram, who's been taking shot after shot. But still very few fights, Dustin. And if you ignore the Lawson Krause fight, Utah was 2-1, 2-2, or something like that when they fought. But now nothing. Like, it's almost like the heart. There's no oomph in the team.
Yeah, I think that was only our 3rd or 4th fight of the year.
4th.
Liam's had 1. Was it Lamoureux had 1?
Yep, Lamoureux had 1, and McBain.
Somebody else has 1 too.
And we've talked about it. That the NHL just as a whole is kind of going away from that. Not as much fighting. It's more of a skill game now. And it's maybe these guys they don't fight, they don't want to fight, or they just don't get energized from it. Or maybe just since Utah already commits so many penalties, they don't want to put a man in the box for 5 minutes on top of all the rest of the penalties.
Which is funny because they want to put a guy in the box for literally everything else. and we still cannot play disciplined hockey, and we keep getting punished for it.
Even so, like our penalty kill at one point was one of the brightest things on this team. We were only giving up maybe one power play goal a game out of 5 penalty kills, which that might not sound great. That's pretty fucking good if you're only giving up 1 out of 5 in an NHL game. You shouldn't be taking 5 penalties, but yeah, this just I feel like there's nothing gets them. There's no energy on, like, just everybody looks tired and defeated and almost like they don't want to be there, which I don't understand. Cause like you're in a new place and like it's not like you guys are an under talented team, because there's no way you can look at this team and be like, yeah, that's a crappy roster. I disagree. On paper, this team seems like it should be putting up a fight game in and game out, and they just don't. The talent is there, but nobody wants to just step up and do something, anything. And I know you were kind of dogging on Krause for him taking so long to finally drop the gloves, but I'm just proud of him for finally doing it. I've been saying it for his whole goddamn career. You're 6'5" and like 220 pounds. Beat the shit out of somebody every goddamn shift, Krause. You should just be trained, just running over, just being a menace. You're not scoring goals. Do something, man. Like, earn the paycheck. Do something. Buy in. Somebody hit somebody. And I have to disagree again with the fighting thing maybe going out of style. Have you there's been at least a great couple fights every week, if not a fight every night so far. Like Ryan Lomberg in Calgary absolutely lawnmowered a dude with the lefts the other night against Jersey, sparked that team. Like, fighting is always going to spark your guys, but it seems like even when the boys do fight, they just don't care. They're just like, cool, thanks for dropping the gloves, but it doesn't give them that, like, that fire, that spark. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like they just don't want it. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. And maybe it is the case that maybe we've made too many excuses for the team, and specifically I'm turning my attention to Connor Ingram right now, because it cannot be ignored that Connor Ingram is, statistically at least, having one of the worst seasons in the NHL. If you look at some of the stats posted by the guys over at moneypuck.com, so through 12 games of goalies who have played 12 games, they have it listed that only 2 goalies should have less expected goals against than Connor Ingram, this is a positive, right? They're saying that these are the number of goals that should be allowed, and you obviously want the fewer. And that is Connor Hellebuyck, one of the best goalies in the league.
The best goalie in the league.
Connor Hellebuyck probably is right now the best goalie in the league. You are absolutely right. And Jacob Markstrom, who is a very talented goalie in the league. Now, Connor Ingram's actual, however, goals against, he's got 8 more goals than he should. His goals saved above expected, -8. He's allowed 8 more goals than statistically he should, given all other metrics available. And if you look at the stats for him, the most advanced stats, the most non-advanced stats, statistically speaking, he's having a very, very rough season. We've already discussed that Karel Vejmelka can't catch a break no matter how well he plays, because his team's not going to do anything. So he could save 100 shots, let one in, and they're still going to lose because the team plays that bad when Karel Vejmelka's in net. So it's like, I don't know. Obviously, I don't want to put the blame on Connor Ingram at all, but he does need to step up more. We've talked about his ability to keep the team in the game, but we now, at this point, we need to 100% see him steal a game. And maybe that energizes the team. Maybe he gets his first shutout in this next little stretch. It's a tough stretch, so I don't really see a shutout coming, but maybe that's what they need. Maybe they get their net minders increased, and the offense decides, hey, all right, my guy behind me is going to play for me. I'm going to play for them, and they start putting pucks on net, and those pucks start going in, because I haven't seen too many of that either. Against St. Louis was one of the first times we significantly outshot a team. We doubled the St. Louis Blues up on shots, but for most of the time we're about even or getting blown out on the shot category ourselves. And so it's tough to watch. As a fan, it's tough to watch. You want to see them compete every night, and I don't think we care that they're losing. I feel like it's the way they're losing, where they're just not an entertainment. The product we're watching is not very fun right now, and it is unfortunate. But they do have Archie the dog, though, guys. Did you see that cute little puppy Archie?
I mean, great. Drop the merch, I guess. Like, that'll be fun. Or how about we don't get the dog unless the team starts winning? How about that? How about we tell them every time they lose, he gets closer and closer to an animal shelter? Let's, like, like, what do we need to, let's go evil on it. Like, what else do we have to, he's a cute puppy, I'll give him
Dustin,
that.
the people have spoken, and they love puppies. When your team is on a slide, what do? Distract with puppies. That is marketing 101, baby. I'm telling you, it's a great idea. And if you haven't seen Archie the dog, go look at him. But you're right, Ryan. The dog gimmick can only go so far, and it's a distraction. A distraction for me. You know what distraction I'd really welcome is if they announce that the jerseys are available for sale tomorrow. I would love that distraction. That would easily buy my attention for 2 more months.
I
But if they
don't
don't drop jerseys, I'm out.
I don't want to buy a jersey of anybody on this team right now. Like, and I don't want to buy just a blank Utah jersey. If I'm going to be a fan, I want to be a fan. I want to support somebody specifically. I got no faith in any of these guys. And like you were saying,
Alex Kerfoot.
okay, you're right. Alex Kerfoot or Michael Kesselring, you're right. I could get one of those two. But like you were saying, it's not about the losses or the wins. That's not at all what it's on ice product, and that they don't care if they win or lose. So why should we as fans care to support them if they're not going to try? Or at least I'm sorry, if you can watch an entire Utah Hockey Club game and look me dead in the eyes and tell me that team tried for 60 full minutes, I'll slap you. You're not going to lie to my face like that. You're not doing that. You need to respect yourself more than that. Stop it. Like, we should not be this bad. And we had a great beginning of the season. I still feel like in the first period, we're one of the better teams. Energy level, maybe not like, I don't know the statistics. I'm not a numbers guy. I'm more of a feelings kind of person. But I feel, watching all the games I have, we're a great first period team most of the time. Like, and then just something happens and we just stop. And it's like, I don't know. It almost feels like the Arizona Coyotes again, and it shouldn't. Like, and I get it. We just brought them over to a new city, but I feel like we made enough changes, or enough changes should have been made to get something going. And it's just, some days guys want to play their hearts out, and then other day, like, but it's not everybody playing together all the time. Like, that's the problem. Some guys will have a good night, but it's not everybody. Sergachev, I'm looking at you specifically on that one. You're either the best defenseman on the ice, or I forget you're on the ice. And I just be like, oh yeah, look at that. He is over there. Cool. What's he doing? It's like he's like that outfielder in Little League who makes a diving catch, but then like 2 plays later, you see him just kicking a daisy, and he's just looking at his feet. Like, what are you doing? Like, and the Connor Ingram thing, because like, yeah, his play hasn't been great. I could sit here and try to blame the defense, but he's let in some very questionable goals that should not have gone in. Do other times he get left out to dry? Absolutely. Every NHL goaltender will get left out to dry by their team at some point. But the good ones, they can steal a game. And Ingram he's an NHL goalie. He's good enough to steal games. He's just not. The luck is not there anymore. And I don't know if it's the system or the constant changing of the lines. And I know, I get it. You got to, if it's not working, change it up. I get it. but I also feel like constantly changing with this young of team, they don't know what they're doing to play. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot harder than I think than they get credit for. Because I can only imagine how annoying it would be to change who you're playing with every other game when you're trying to figure out, like, just to play. And you can't do it alone in the NHL. It's not possible. And Clayton Keller seems to be the only guy on the team you can put anywhere and with anybody. And Keller's going to do what Keller does. And it's sad because I feel like he's got a cast of guys around him. Gunther, I know statistically he's on a good, like, he'll have a good season if he stays on this course, but he's not playing good. He's just not. Like, it's frustrating as when it's like, bro, shoot the puck. Stop it. You are not going to be an NHL goal scorer in 4 years or in 3. You're an NHL goal scorer now. It's the same they said to Tage Thompson. Stop trying to be what you're going to be in. Just score the goal. Just shoot the puck, dude. You know what you're doing. Just believe in yourself. And I don't understand this team. We get outshot every game. We don't check. How do you expect to win a game if you're not physical and getting pucks on net? It's literally the only two things you need to do to win a hockey game. Is finish your checks and shoot the puck. Like, I don't. My camp is I'm voting blame Andre Tierney. Get him out of here. Fire him. We had our fun with the Bear, but I think we wait for Boston to fire Montgomery. Then we go in, we snag Montgomery, and we take the Vegas Golden Knights Butch Cassidy approach and be like, yes, we're getting the cup.
Taking Boston's former coach all the way to the championship. Dustin, when is it appropriate to call for a coach's firing? Is it too early to do that?
I think it's probably a little too early on in the season. And I don't know, just from my lack of like in-depth experience with the game, how much impact a coach actually has on his team and on the game. But the thing that troubles me is this team seems to lack an identity. You know, that like you either want to be like a dump and chase, put pucks on net type team, or a physical team, and this team isn't either one of those. So that's where I feel the head coach in hockey, or the man in charge. Look at my just losing my voice as I go. Sorry, I thought I muted for that. Um, but uh, but yeah, that's what a coach should be uh, instilling in his team, is an identity, and this team doesn't have one.
You're absolutely right. Or the identity is do a long stretch pass that gets intercepted, or our deflection into the offensive zone goes nowhere and it ends up being a takeaway either. That's what we do. That's our offensive identity, is stretch pass after stretch pass after stretch pass. If our namesake, the two-line pass, was still in existence, this team would get nowhere because they would be constantly called for two-line passes. We were constantly called early in the season on offside. They finally figured that out, but it hasn't helped change the way it is. It's just these weird stretch passes that just don't work for us. And I obviously am not watching every single game of every other team, but I'm not sure what other system is utilizing this stretch pass to success, because I feel like it absolutely takes away from our speed, and it does the opposite of the effect in terms of, if we're trying to play to this team's strengths, our offensive stretch pass, which is like, I don't even know if there's a word for it. Like, obviously, like, there's dump and chase, but I don't even know if there's a word for what we do. I'm sure there is some like coaching textbook that says, oh, this is the Warburtle method, like it was invented by Joseph Warburtle, the great German hockey player, or something like that. But I don't know what it is, and I don't like it. I don't like looking at it because it frustrates me more than it makes me happy. But hopefully they take the rest of the month and into December to find that identity. And maybe we're talking in December, January, we're talking about the streak that puts us back in the wild card contention. And speaking of trying to get on streaks, let's take a look ahead to the November schedule. As we've talked about, it is not an easy schedule by any stretch of the imagination. We have one of the better teams in the East, Carolina, coming to town. Guys, I have that chalked up as a loss. What are you thinking?
I think this might actually be one we can steal. I know this is going to sound crazy. I know it is. But Carolina plays a man on man system during the regular season. And I feel like that system kind of works in our advantage with our speed and the actual like individual talents some of our guys have. Like I feel like Logan Cooley is going to shine in a one-on-one kind of game. Alex Kerfoot is going to make some of the Hurricanes very frustrated when they realize, oh shit, the dude's not. He's small, but he's mean. He's like a honey badger out there. So yeah, I think that actually might be a game we have a chance at. But I'm not going to be surprised if we lose. But I'm going to take the optimistic route. Give me the win. Give me the win on Carolina. It's time to change. We're changing tomorrow.
Hey, maybe they're poised. Carolina 9-1 in their last 10. I've got that chalked up.
I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah, 9-1. I've got it as a loss. Dustin,
9-2, baby. 9-2.
My brain says loss. My heart says I'm going to be in the stands, so they're winning.
Dustin, first game of the season, my man. He's going to bring the W. I hope that voice is rested for your next round of Let's Go Utah chance.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Good. Excellent. Well, we're a little bit split. I'm the negative Nancy on Carolina. 2-1 vote on that. Then on Friday, we bring the Golden Knights in for the second of 3 November games against Las Vegas. Now, I have this one chalked up as a big W because Las Vegas is trash on the road. Las Vegas is very, very bad on the road this season. They've only played like 4 road games because of such an easy schedule they were gifted. But I'm going to chalk this up to we take on the Golden Knights and we get the win on Friday. Ryan, Dustin, what are you thinking?
Yeah, they're 1-3-2 away from home. They're losing in the Delta Center. I agree with you.
Yep, that's another game where I feel like our team matches up, maybe not individually with the Golden Knights' talent level, because that top line of the Knights, I will say, is a problem for, I think, every team in the NHL with Eichel, Barbashev, and Stone. Like, that's just a solid line. But, yeah, I mean, 1-3 and whatever on the road, we're pretty decent at home, I think. I don't know. I feel like if we get the win in Carolina, keep that momentum rolling, we can roll through Vegas. So, yeah, I'll take the win.
If we win 2 games in a row, and then we got Washington coming on Monday, if we win that one, that's called a winning streak. It has happened before. Washington, Monday the 18th, win or loss?
It's going to be a loss on that one. I actually don't think we're very built to beat the Capitals. They are not a fast team, but they are a big physical team, and Alexander Ovechkin is on a mission right now. And yeah, I think we'll take the first 2 and then drop one to the Washington with no shame. I don't think there's any shame in losing to the Capitals this season, unlike last year where it was dishonor on your family to lose to the Capitals. But yeah, I'll take the loss on that one.
Nope, I would like to see us win. I do think if you guys haven't been paying attention, Alexander Ovechkin is going for the goals record. Is now 38 back from Gretzky?
36.
36 back from Wayne Gretzky to become the all-time leading goal scorer. Obviously, nobody's touching Gretzky in points, but goals, that's one of Gretzky's records that's attainable, and Ovi is on a mission to do it. He's got the rest of this season and next. If you guys have a chance, great seats available. If you got a few $100s, you could get up front on the glass for $7.05, a steal to potentially see Ovi get one of his league leading. Dustin, You think Ovi gets on the board, or maybe Connor Ingram blanks the great 8 and we take our 3rd in a row if we're being overly optimistic?
No, we're not winning that one. I see some wins coming up, and I don't want to predict too many of them. So I'm going to take a loss in that one.
All right. Well, then I'm going to also do a loss. Actually, yeah, I'll probably do a loss because my heart tells me that we're in for a rough November. And then we go back on the road, another 4-game road trip right after this 3-game homestand. And the 21st, we go to Boston. I'm going to chalk it up to a win. We're going to be 2-0 and fall against Boston. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we're taking the Bruins at home. They are honestly turned into one of the biggest disappointment of a team, and their forward group is just like they are just not doing shit this year other than Pasta, and even he's not very good. So yeah, I'll take us getting a win in the Garden.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to call it. We're going 4-0 on this road trip. You don't even got to ask me as you go through the next 3 games. 4-0 on that road trip.
Ooh, Dustin's got 4-0. I'm actually not far behind, guys, because after Boston, we play the San Jose Sharks of the East. The Pittsburgh Penguins should be an easy win for the Utah Hockey Club. Ryan, do you agree or disagree on the Sharks of the East?
I enjoy the medical marijuana. Let's say this, but I am not high enough to think the Penguins have a shot at winning a game against us. So that's a big old win. I'll call the score right now 4-1. It's going to be a 4-1 win. Clayton Keller's going to get his first hat trick of the year against Crosby nonetheless.
Crosby notwithstanding, Pittsburgh is pretty bad this year, guys. They are pretty bad, so we should be competitive against them. And then it is a back-to-back after Pittsburgh. They jump a plane, head a few miles east, and go to Toronto on Sunday the 24th. The Maple Leafs are second in the Atlantic right now, but 9-6-2. The Atlantic is wide open for anybody to take, and we're going to lose to the Maple Leafs, but we get our first look. Is the Keller-Marner trade for real? Who's going to win that battle? Dustin's got it as a win. Ryan, do we take on the Maple Leafs?
Look, I think we're going to split the Canadian games 1-1. We're going to beat one of them and lose one of them, but yeah, I'll probably give us the loss to the Maple Leafs and give us the win over the Canadians. Even though I would not be surprised if that is flipped. I'm not saying we're a team that on paper should even play good against the Maple Leafs, but I'm feeling like the gods got to give us one. They got to give us one game in November where we're like, we stole that game, should not have won. And hey, I'm going to hope it comes against the Maple Leafs because, the Maple Leafs.
Could be that one. Like the Atlantic is wide open, and the Canadians are the bottom of the Atlantic right now at 5-9. So give me a W against the Montreal Canadiens. I have us 3-1, which Ryan, that puts you 3-1, Dustin 4-1. So we're low expectations at home, high expectations on the road. And then we're back at home. This is a weird back-to-back that I do not like. The Oilers come to town on the 29th, day after Thanksgiving. Our bellies are full of turkey, and we get crushed. We get crushed by the Edmonton Oilers. They shoot the lights out and probably put up 8 or 9 on us.
How high are you? My God, sir. Are you crazy? No, the Oilers suck. They're terrible this year. They're garbage. 8 or 9? No, we're beating the Oilers at home and then going to lose in Vegas to end out the month. You're crazy. You think we're losing to the Oilers? Connor McDavid sucks.
All right.
Lamoureux's going to knee him. It's going to be fine.
He's going to get he gets suspended for the season if he takes out McDavid.
Look, if he does the same one he got called for in the last game, I'm okay with it because that was thigh on thigh.
Yeah, it was not a penalty. There was a reason there was no supplemental discipline because there shouldn't even been any on ice discipline.
Yeah, all he did was not move his leg out of the way. It's like, why should you? Why should I have to move my leg for you? No.
It's ridiculous. But then they do go on the back-to-back second back-to-back in a week. It's unfortunate because I will be at that game, and I do not want to see Utah lose in Las Vegas for the third game against the Golden Knights. So I hope they sandbag against the Oilers, get destroyed because they're saving all their energy for Vegas. I got them losing to the Golden Knights, but I hope they win because I want to see them, and then I'll go party on the strip with the boys. You guys, how do you see them end in November? Win or lose against the Golden Knights?
They're losing, but in overtime, so we get the point.
Nah, we're gonna lose. I mean, I like that. I like losing in overtime in Vegas. I could work with that. I like that, Dustin.
Okay. Losing in overtime to Las Vegas. Well, there it is. Your another rather optimistic look. If we come out of that with our predictions, we will be quite happy, as we've predicted quite a few wins. We were quite optimistic in the month of October as well, and it didn't quite go as well as we wanted it to. But we'll see. It's always fun. It's always an adventure with this Utah Hockey Club, with Archie the dog. I wonder if they're going to create a song about him, but let's wrap it up. Ryan, Dustin, any closing thoughts before we get on out of here?
I just love how this podcast was all doom and gloom. This team doesn't have an identity. We need to fire our coach. Is our goalie good enough to win? Anyways, we're going to close out November on a really good streak.
We are the worst team in the league, but we're going to win the 10 of the next 11.
Hey, I mean, if anybody can do it, it's us. Okay, we're going to speak it into existence.
You have to have that.
You put good out into the universe and you get good back.
Positive vibes, everybody. Positive vibes. Hopefully we have some positive vibes. Dustin, get your throat relaxed, my man. Go enjoy that game. Ryan and I will likely be with you tomorrow night for the post game. And by tomorrow night, I mean tonight by the time you're listening to that. So you guys enjoy the game. And thanks so much for listening to the Two Line Pass podcast. Everybody have a great night. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Two Line Pass podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at the Two Line Pass. You can follow Dustin at Highlights Ute. You can follow Randon at TLP Randon and Ryan at Carnes Ryan 0420. During the off-season, new episodes of the podcast drop every Wednesday with bonus episodes throughout. And during the season, we will have our weekly show plus game day episodes so you don't miss a minute of the action.